Hello everyone, this is Epic Tabletop and I'm Berlish. Now, when I'm recording this, new year just arrived. I want to look back at the things I managed to accomplish in the hobby, on the channel, and I want to share this with you. So let's just start with the amount of miniatures I was able to paint. By the way, in the background my Renaissance army is rolling. I will say a few words about it as well, but let's just start with the miniatures I have managed to finish in the 2025. I will start with historical minis. Here you can see some Prussians for the second half of the 19th century. These are 3D prints from Stereoworld. You can find them on MMF. They do make some of the most beautiful historical minis on MMF, in my opinion. These guys are from upcoming crowdfunding campaign and I can highly recommend them if you are into Franco-Prussian War, for example. I will talk some more about these beautiful Prussians in upcoming material. Now for my early 16th century stuff. Here is an artillery piece and 2 knights to be added to my existing collection. The gun, it's a bit outdated for 16th century, but I thought that since it is a Swiss cannon, perhaps it is one of many captured by them from Charles the Bold at the end of 15th century. And since Swiss back then were rather not renowned for manufacturing and using artillery, they would still be using this older captured piece. Anyway, it's a beautiful model and I'm certainly planning to add more of its kind. Some halberdiers. I wanted to create units that would look similarly to my pikeman squares, and for that I was in need of some additional halberds bearing men. Unusual pikeman base was created to complement similar one that I already have. Now the biggest formation I have created for my Renaissance in 2025. This is to represent large unit of pikemen in a pike and shot game. 9 bases plus 3 front, somewhat scenic bases. Most of the unit is made of Warsteel superb 3D printed minis. These are complemented by some plastic parries that I had still laying around. They go together very well. Few Vikings. I do have few of them already, but I wanted to add some more in order to have a band for Victrix Pillage game. These are Victrix models with one V&V Berserker added. Well, again, they go together very well. That's it when it comes to my historicals. Now let's switch to fantastical creations. First of all, I have painted some Star Wars Legion orientated minis. This is my first hero, namely Director Krennic and his guard of Death Troopers. Much more will follow, as I intend to play the game. I have Empire and Rebel starter sets, so well, there is some painting to be done. These minis are actually last thing that I have painted in 2025. I loved painting them, especially Krennic. This is a French Crusade warband from Antioch, Red Brigade to be more precise. Again, I very much enjoyed painting these troops. Hopefully they will see some action. Now some traditional fantasy. Goblins, or night goblins if one wants to be precise. I love these little buggers. These are 3D prints from Mom Miniatures, well, mostly. Mom minis are spear-wielding, but I wanted this time gobos with hand weapons, so I digital kit-bashed hands from Monstrous Miniatures Goblins and shields from Highland Miniatures Goblins. More gobos, this time pure Mom Miniatures, 3D prints. Even more gobos. This time Wolf Riders, Highland Miniatures, 3D prints. Lovely minis, but I do have one thing against them. They are a bit too uniform for my liking. More variety in clothing and armor would be much appreciated. Therefore, when creating more Wolf Riders, I switched to monstrous miniatures, which are perfect in my opinion. And the thing is that those two units go together very well. I made sure to match their size while printing. Ragnar's Wolves. For those of you who played Warhammer Shadow of the Horned Rat and Dark Omen, I don't need to introduce them. They made an appearance in my last Shadows and Omens battle report, but they yet to show their fighting skill. Well, this will happen rather sooner than later. Now some orcs, very old orcs. These are mostly old GW monopose plastics. To my surprise, I found out that I own a few of them. Most of them were painted like 30 years ago, but to be perfectly honest, they look decent enough, so I painted in similar style 2 more and then added the boss and musician from Monstrous Miniatures collection. They are practically identical in style, although a bit taller. Still, I kinda love this new / very old unit of orc archers that I now have. Now some serious muscle. Black Orcs from Highland Miniatures. Apart from the hero boss in the middle, which of course is a GW mini and was painted long time ago. Black Orc Troopers, they were painted in rather simple scheme, but I think they are very aesthetically pleasing. I will be adding 10 more, another unit of 10 of these brutes. Beastman Warband. These are Bestiarum miniatures, and like pretty much everything that comes from this creator, in my opinion, they are gorgeous. I printed them and kind of speed / fast painted them so they can be a part of a certain event as a warband for one-page rules skirmish fantasy game. They did rather well. I do plan on adding some additional minis to this bunch. Well, 3 Empire Spearman. Very characterful minis from Mom Miniatures, again. Only 3 because they were part of the same mentioned event as Beastman, and I needed 3 of them to complement my existing Empire miniatures. But I will be printing and painting more of them, so I can have unit of 20. And last but obviously not least is this awesome giant. Well, as you can see, his base is not finished. I simply can't decide what to do with it. I finished this giant quite a few months ago, yet the base, well, the miniature, the way that it's painted, gives me some wood or maybe hill giant vibe, yet he usually is a part of my goblins army. But the idea behind his creation was that he was to be a fantasy part for my Celtic army for Saga Magic game. This will not happen because I didn't fancy the game in the end, so any suggestions? Write me in the comment if you got one. Okay, that's pretty much it. So how many, right? Well, the total number of miniatures I have painted in 2025 is 176. Well, that's not very good, especially if I compare this to 335 that I painted in 2020. Well, but still, it is what it is. It's not terrible, I suppose. So, what happens next? Well, first of all, I need to admit to a level of failure when it comes to past year. My Renaissance got derailed by circumstances, mostly. I had no way to record these battle reports I wanted to make, and this led to another failure, which is an abysmal amount of materials last year. It's like I was waiting for certain things to happen, and since they were not happening, I was not doing anything else. Hence, the lack of new stuff on the channel. The last thing is Shadows and Omens Warhammer / one-page rules campaign. Damn, I wanted to finish all the scenarios last year, and here we are, with just one game and the whole year has passed. This is still happening, despite the obstacles of various nature. So if you see another trailer on the channel, actual report will be just a week away. I think I did learn from past year mistakes, so I am simply moving on with my channel, and I do hope you will all stay with me. So, I'll see you soon. Till next time, cheers!